All right, welcome to episode 66 of Theater School Rejects.
Woo!
All right, so
So we just left the Sadcast.
yeah, the depressing podcast about depression. And this is
that depressing.
Depressing podcast about depression part 2.
Yeah.
Because we're not done beating that dead horse.
Well, I mean, it's because it's a topic. So it's a topic that dominates my existence
It does.
all the time because I'm always fighting that battle.
But here is the thing. I guess, and I'm like, here's the thing. After the 17 other things, but but I wanted to go through those to get to here, which is that when you're depressed, can you be cheered up?
Yes. So there's a quandary there, a paradox, because there's this position that people without depression like to use by saying, well, happiness is a choice.
Fuck that. Who says that?
People I know.
Okay, you should shoot them.
I won't because he helps fund my existence.
Your dad?
Yes.
Because way to keep it vague, dude. Like it's either your daddy or your sugar daddy.
Right.
Like he helps fund my existence. Well, it's either the dude who hires you as a gay prostitute once a week, or it's your dad.
If I was being hired as a gay prostitute, I'd be making a lot more money.
No, you wouldn't.
Sure, I would.
You think
Dude,
you're an expensive gay prostitute? You think you're the high rent? You think in LA that they're like, let's dial to the Rolodex of gay prostitutes?
Yeah, because I know what a man wants. Suck those balls.
Oh, no.
I would put my mouth on those testicles and go to town.
One step too far. That's why you're depressed. You're depressed is a punishment from God.
Balls in mouth.
Oh, man. Why do I do this podcast with you?
But to pivot from that,
you're so good 90% of the time. 90% fucking Richard's fucking high energy, smart, funny, cutting humor, great.
And then
bam, yeah.
There's balls.
Then there's balls in his mouth.
So like my mom.
Nice segue.
My mom,
from balls in the mouth to my mom,
who I'm pretty sure never has balls in her mouth.
Well, we're gonna leave that. Let's leave that to speculation. Go on. Let's not confirm or deny that.
I don't want to know.
You shouldn't want to know.
I don't want to know.
There's nothing good for you there.
No. There's nothing but terror and unhappiness.
Oh, have you added the new bit to your that we talked about for your set? Where it's like, well, it's my contribution from the crowd, like heckling. You're like, have you ever thought about that the noises you make during sex are hereditary? And I'm like, no, it's not true. You get it from the first person who molested you.
That's right. No, I have not added that.
I don't know if you can add that, but I'm telling you, next time you do that bit in front of me, I am yelling that from the stage. So you may want to think about incorporating it.
Before it comes out anyway.
Because it's coming.
So my mom deals with chronic depression herself, and my dad struggles to understand it because he doesn't, and he just assumes my mom can just make herself happier. So I believe that depression, you can, through the course of events, you can get happier, but it's not something you can necessarily consciously do. So we talked about how I was really depressed once. I didn't want to do a show. It was a TSR show, and I sat in the parking lot crying and upset. I didn't want to do the show. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And then suddenly I had an idea for an opening joke, which I still used to this day. In fact, I'm going to use it. Oh yeah, if this comes out before Friday, come see me at the fucking world famous Comedy Store at 7:00.
Plug it. He's doing a birthday show, Comedy Store, Friday
the 14th.
Yeah, go see it because it'll probably be up and out, for a force of listeners probably tomorrow night.
So the joke I came up with in the parking lot, I'm using it on Friday. So I still use that joke.
Yeah, half a comedy is your opening joke. That
Absolutely.
First line is bam. That's half your set.
So, like, I came up with that, and I came inside, did the show. You had me leading off, which you do somewhat often.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
went
set the
in,
stage, man.
I killed,
You gotta set the table.
and I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt re-energized. So like there are things you can do that will, you know, pull you out of it temporarily, but it's difficult. It's difficult to do those things or to be able to trigger them at a moment's notice. One of those things is exercise. Exercise generally always helps, but you need time for exercise. And I'm always freaking out because my whole life revolves around making money.
Right, yeah. Money helps.
Money helps.
Which is why
Money helps
is why
everything.
the very rich want no one in the lower classes to have any.
Yeah.
Because if you have to spend all your life thinking about how to make money, you can't worry about things like social justice or maybe the system is fucked up.
Yeah. Right. If you're always preoccupied by trying to survive, then you're not going to be paying attention to the things going on around you.
That is
just
not
blinders.
that is not a bug. That's a feature in the system as far as most politicians are concerned.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, how can we fuck the poor?
Right. Right. You constantly keep them needing.
Well, it's
And
almost the
they're
opposite.
never-
Like the Romans were like, how can we give them bread and circuses and keep them moderately happy so they won't revolt? And even France is like, maybe like if people are so unhappy, we need to like fix things so they're not feeling fucked.
Right.
Where the U.S. is like, all we gotta do is sell all our army weapons that we can't sell to anybody else because the army doesn't need them anymore to the police. Because if and that's the thing too. Like our police are so fascist, they don't give a shit. Like there was a thing that they put like the Thailand police like went and laid down with the protesters. You know that there is like because that's one of the things you need is like will the police
Make that.
shoot their own countrymen? Like when people aren't doing anything wrong, will they shoot people for protesting? And like, and then they had the undercover police, the police they found who beat the shit out of an undercover policeman, and they went into the crowd saying we're gonna fuck some protesters up. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, but like we're way afield. All right, yeah. So existence is a struggle, and that's the plan. And like, cause I've achieved some financial security, not much, but like I have my own apartment as opposed to renting a room, and like being able to like afford like my 50-pound dumbbells, like I get to lift weights at home.
You're right.
And like I get to, and I figured it's like a year and a half, a way to do like a laying down. You okay?
Yeah, my back's starting. Old age, people. Sucks. Well, that old age, obesity. It's all.
See,
It's one big basket of fucking shit.
if I had the financial security to have a couch, we could do couch podcasts like just between us.
It's true.
Unfortunately, then we'd be visible, which I don't think is helpful for our brand. I think being anonymous, invisible voices, because we've got the faces for radio, as they say.
It's true.
We got a face for radio.
His face isn't selling anything.
No,
Other than maybe weight loss pills.
we need to put.
You don't want this.
No, we need to like hire like 2 ladies, and then we'll write the scripts and let them say our words.
Right?
We need proxies.
So any ladies out there looking for some low income work
That's the thing, right?
or no income work.
Oh man.
But hot chicks don't have to work for free.
No, or even for small amounts of money.
Yeah.
But they will work for screen credits.
It's true.
Ah, the power of it. All right. Wow. That's why we never accomplish anything, even our podcasts.
Right?
Anyway, so I was saying that like having the ability to like even just create a space where you can do a thing, and you know whether it's owning a computer, having a space to write.
Like right now, I have one space for everything.
Yeah, and that's
It's
not.
where I dine. It's where I sleep. It's where I pretend to work. It's where I relax. All of those things.
Yeah, and the more space you have, the more like you can spread out and try and like set aside things. You can be like, okay, this is my writing space. I'm in writing mode.
Yep.
You know, or I'm in working out mode. I say that. I use, like, at this point, like 30% of my apartment.
Yeah, but at least you have space to do things. Although, I mean, to be fair, but before I lost my home this year, I don't know, I wasn't necessarily maximizing my space either.
Right. All right. But so okay. But like, so you got out of the depression. You were depressed, and you were gonna not do a thing, and then you went and did the thing.
Well, so there is something to just forcing yourself to go do something, which is harder than it sounds. Like, my father is an example. You know, he's like, well, if you're feeling bad, the thing to do is to go do something for someone else. Sure. That's a great idea.
I'm totally behind that.
But forcing myself to get up and go do something is a Herculean task sometimes. Like today was hard. Today was real hard. I barely made it out to class. I got to class 10 minutes late because I just lost track of time because I was just too sad to bother to fucking look. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta leave right now.
Well, like, so, I don't know, like, one of the saddest I've ever been was I was in law school, and this girl, Chelsea, broke up with me.
Fuck you, Chelsea.
Thank you. Fuck that girl.
Fuck that girl.
And it's also fuck that guy, but I didn't know at the time. She just, like, we were
Is that one of the drug dealers you lost a girl to?
Uh-huh. I'm not gonna. We'll do a Chelsea podcast eventually, but not today. Remind me though. Remind me and say, hey, let's do a Chelsea podcast. I'm like, okay, and we'll tell the story, the horrible, horrible story. Fuck that guy. So, but anyway, she just checked out of the relationship, and she wouldn't tell me why, and I didn't understand what was going on. There was just like we were in love, and then I was in love and she wasn't.
Sure.
It was just like boom. It was like one day. It was like just closing a window.
I know that experience well. I've lived that experience.
And look,
over and over.
And I'm like, what happened? What's going on? Like, and she just said, like, hey, well, anyway, so for 2 months, she goes, I don't know. I don't know if it's the birth control pills, if it's hormones. All I know is I just feel checked out. And in my mind, because I'm a problem solver, I'm a smart guy, and this is like in between, like this is like towards the end of the first semester of law school, which is a terrible time to be fucking having this issue.
Sure.
And I couldn't fucking fix it. Like I couldn't figure out what happened. No, I didn't behave any differently. Her behavior was completely a 180.
Right.
And then months later, she said, well, I started talking on the phone to my ex every day. And that didn't fucking occur to you? When you said you had no idea, you might have said something like, well, there is this change of circumstance.
We can do Chelsea podcast at some point, but on a natural human level, that's bullshit. So fucking humans will fucking do anything they can to fucking divert attention from their real behavior. Happens all the fucking time. It is a common human defect that people can't take ownership of their fucking bullshit.
No,
Happens all the fucking time.
Yeah, and the dude was abusive, and the dude at the time when she fucking eventually started dating me and she left this bad situation, he was homeless, he was a drug dealer, and she was supporting him, and he had broken up with her, but she was still supporting him, basically paying the rent so he could live for free after he'd broken up with her. Whew. And like I did a fucking whole bunch of shit to get her like out of that situation, living with her family, going to school, working, and like totally like in a much more positive environment. And then she just turned around and fucked me, just pissed on my face. Metaphorically.
I mean, I'm not judging.
I'm just saying. Like, hey, if that's what you're into, consensual pissing on the face, I'm not gonna judge. I mean, I will secretly, silently. But I mean,
right,
publicly, I'll say,
gross.
you do what you want to do. Yeah, you do
but
you.
But if it makes you happy.
Yeah, you do you. But like, this was not. Anyway, so that's well, the one good thing about it was because it was my head was just so fixated on this. I actually went to therapy like seriously for like 4 or 5 months after that because I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I had to because I had to focus on law school. I was not going to fuck up law school because of this fucked up chick.
Absolutely.
And but then when she finally told me what actually happened. Once it made sense in my head, I was fine. I was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
But I was fine. It's the with the facts I had, nothing made sense, and I can't deal with a world that doesn't make sense.
Which is why Republican politics drive you crazy.
Yeah, that's because I need facts. I need logic. It's a small thing, but it's important to me. But anyway, so I was super depressed over that break because I had nothing to do and I was alone and super sad. And what I did was I spent all my time volunteering which they had opportunities for lawyers to volunteer at the Access Center, helping people get name changes, helping people apply for relief from domestic violence, like restraining orders and shit.
Doing real good.
Yeah, and like I had been doing a couple hours a week, but I ended up doing like 25 hours over Christmas break, like 4 hours a day, like 4 days a week, because I didn't have classes or anything. So I did a shitload of volunteering, met a super cute girl while I was volunteering, asked her out, we ended up going on a date and fucking having super sex. And then she, the next day, is like, I can't talk to you anymore. And this sucked because I was like, I did everything right. They say go volunteer, focus on other people, do things, and this led to a new girl and sex.
Good things were happening.
And then right back to depression. Doubled, because now I was fucking bummed out over 2 girls. I doubled my sadness. But that's not the thing is though, I wasn't less sad, but I felt good that I was doing something. Like I was productive when I wasn't just like laid out with sadness.
Yeah, so like I always feel better when I'm productive doing something I believe in or something that I feel good about. So like as much as I appreciate that the job I quit, they offer me a different job with better hours, like I appreciate that, but the work kind of sucks and I'm not into it.
No, because you're not accomplishing anything that you care about.
No, I am accomplishing nothing.
And that sucks.
I'm barely even helping the company that I'm working for. Like I feel like the time isn't being well used. And that's frustrating too. I mean, I appreciate collecting money, but like my life isn't about collecting money. It's not about collecting checks. I don't think life should be, but in America, that's not the case. The whole fucking system is designed around greed and fucking money.
Right.
That's all that matters. And that's very frustrating because that's not what I'm about. I'm not about any of it. I don't give a fuck about money.
That's how I felt.
I like to have some.
Yeah.
Because it would make life easier. And if I had a bunch of it, like if I was a successful touring comedian, I was making a lot of money, I would just give it to my friends and shit.
Right.
As long as I have a roof and I'm able to provide for myself and the basic needs where I don't have to sweat it, I don't fucking care. I don't care. None of it matters.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, money doesn't do much for me except for stuff I can buy, which I know. But it rarely the things that make me happy, which is why I tend to give a lot of gifts out because I'm like, I can at least use the money to make somebody else happy, and that makes me happy. Yeah. Because because it doesn't make, there's like that, like doing something for someone else can make me happy. Like I can take joy in their happiness, but like very few things make me happy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But like for me, like I can be sad, and doing something would cheer me up, like while it's happening. Like I guess I could say I can't stop depression, but I can forestall it.
It's a distraction.
Yeah, I can
momentary distraction from the sadness.
And I'm wondering, is that how you experience it?
Yeah. It's so like there's a band called Stained that has a song where it talks about like it's always raining in my head, and some days there's an umbrella and that's awesome, and some days the sun comes out, and that's one reason why I don't miss living in Washington, because I was metaphorically living it and literally living it.
Well, but I like rain. Rain makes me happy.
I like it to a point.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to live in Seattle, but
like last week when it rained, it was great.
It was great. But I would love to have rain like
a little bit more often.
Yeah, 4 days a week. Not 7 days a week in Seattle, but 3 days a week.
But yeah, I mean, and there's momentary breaks, and it's all distraction.
Well, yeah, but like I'm not sad now. But if we weren't podcasting, I would have been sad.
Like, I'm still sad.
Like you're experiencing sadness right now,
dude. I am a deep conversation away from losing my shit again. Like that's so. Like when I experience it, like I'm not like there is such a deep sadness in the back of my head that it wouldn't take much to lose it. But so like and that's tough. And that's tough because a lot of people don't get it, and people don't like when I say that I'm one conversation from a complete meltdown. It's because I can feel it, like it's back there.
But what about like right now? Like, what's your mood right now?
I'm sad.
See, I'm having a good time right now. I'm talking and podcasting.
I am too. Like I am enjoying the conversation with you, and it helps. But it's just a distraction.
Well, I
so
know,
as soon as you ask like, what's my mood like? I'm fucking sad. Like in my head, it's still raining.
But I experience it differently.
Sure.
Like, I know when I go home, I'll be sad.
Right.
And even driving home, I'll probably be sad.
Yeah.
Like the moment the distractions stop and I gotta deal with my life, I'm sad. But as long as I'm doing something that's not dealing with my life, that thing that doesn't distract me. Like, if I go to see a movie, a movie may not distract me. I might be sitting there, and the sadness will hit me, and it's like, and so my whole life is about what can I do to avoid thinking about how sad I am.
Absolutely, and I would say so. Like we're about 22 minutes in. The last one was what
25 minutes. Yeah.
25 minutes in. So we podcast for about almost 50 minutes. I would say 90% of it. I forgot. I mean, not forgot the podcast, but I forgot about being sad. So, like, as I know we're coming to an end of it, and especially since we're talking about it, it's at the top of my mind. I still notice the sadness back there.
Well, we're talking about it, which is probably not a great way to avoid it. But what I'm curious about is that, like suppose like if someone says to me like, hey, I'm feeling sad or depressed. Like, there's a thought like, well, let me come by and cheer you up.
Yeah.
And in some ways that's possible, at least for me. Somebody can come by and cheer me up. But it's just a matter of like, well, that's 3 hours where I won't be sad. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to subtract 3 hours from, which is good. Whereas, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that what we're coming to is that even people who are depressed experience depression differently.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the thing, is that ask your friends. How do you experience it? What works for you? What helps? What doesn't? And
Absolutely.
maybe and just because just because you've done something that works for you doesn't mean you shouldn't tell them, because it might work for them, but understand it also might work differently for them.
Right. And so, like, as much as like normally when we podcast we're talking about funnier things and we're joking and stuff like that, I think that's an important point to make, is that if you're, especially because as comics, a natural common thread between all of us is that we all deal with depression. There is a common thread, depression, but we all experience it differently. And I think it's an important point to hit that you just made, that it's important to talk to each other to see what works, because somebody might have something that you didn't think about that might help.
That's true for all of life. Talk to people, because, hey, think about like what's worked for you. Let's pool our strategies. And that's why I think like group therapy is often helpful in the sense that it's shared experience.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that's a good, like, it can be also horrible, but the idea that talk to people, and network in a constructive way, like what worked for you, what didn't.
Some of that's knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah. And like, pooling your experiences.
Yeah.
You can learn from each other. But also some people are dicks and they'll make shit up. Things like,
true.
What works for me? I like to just cut my arm open.
Yeah.
It really helps me out.
I just dig in deep. I take that razor and just...
I stick my head in acid. It's good. It helps.
I'm going to Pain Town.
And I don't mean people who use it as a vile coping mechanism. I mean people who just say shit because they hope that you'll hurt yourself, and that'll make them feel better. Because some people are dicks.
People are dicks.
So help your friends with depression, but realize some people are dicks. That's the theme of our Depressing podcast about depression.